This is the first video about Excel, and as expected, today we will start from the basics. And when I say the basics, I mean exactly actually the most straightforward tools, which unfortunately are not utilized properly by the most analysts. Today we will talk about formatting the cells. Based on my observations, primarily the people responsible for the document submission to government authorities are using the formatting properly, even though it could be a good tool for your convenience, and especially when you share some documents with others. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump to Excel. In order to format tools, you can go to this menu, mark, and go to more format tools. The other option is to use the hotkey, which is Ctrl+1. You will go to the same menu. As usual, you have plenty of pre-populated formats. Today our focus will be on only one element, which is custom. And essentially you can do everything you want in this option. Let's go with the first one, and let's imagine it's a standard set of numbers, and we would like to make it a bit more beautiful and a bit more readable. We go to Ctrl+1, we go to custom. Okay, whenever you want, kill whatever you have here, and let's start from scratch. So in order to format the numbers, you need to define the view which you want to have if the number is positive, if the number is negative, and if the number is equal to 0. So for instance, if these three sections should be separated by a semicolon. So for instance, if we put 0, which is like usual format, and you immediately are able to see how the number will look like. So this is 0, which means that the number will be rounded. Then we put semicolon, let's put 0, and let's put dash for the numbers which are 0. Let's put enter and see what we have. So all the numbers, now you don't see the decimals for the numbers, and for zeros you have dashes. This is extremely important, especially for zeros, because the usual way, at least in my experience, how the analysts try to avoid having plenty of zeros in the table is to use the formula F. And they put if the formula is equal to, if the number cell is equal to 0, then let's put dash, which, and if not, then let's use the cell. This is total disaster, even though it looks exactly the same. Sorry for this. Oh my god, I'm still trying to switch from Microsoft Excel to the Mac, because at work I definitely work with Windows. But the problem is that if this is 0, then you cannot multiply it by any number, you get mistake. However, if you use the same approach, the same trick here, you definitely can multiply it by 1 and you get 0. You can sum it up with something, plus 20. So this is the right way how to eliminate visually the zeros. Okay, let's try to improve a bit this approach. Let's imagine that on top of this, we would like to see negative numbers in brackets. And also let's add one decimal to each of the numbers. This is how you do it. Now numbers look much better. Let's copy this to the second page. And let's try to improve even further our formatting. Now there is an option of adding the color for each of the numbers. For the positive number, let's try to use blue. There are a few standard colors which you can use. I don't remember all of them by heart, but the usual ones such as black, green, brown, yellow are usually available for the option. If you want to use the color, you put it in square brackets after the main format of the number. And naturally, let's use red for the negative numbers. This is another way, and as you can see, now the numbers, negative numbers, are visible in a very correct way. If you add here a few spaces, be careful with this, they will appear in the formatting. So please be sure that you don't have any space here between the format and semicolon. Okay. Let's go to the third one and add one more tiny trick, which is very helpful when you prepare official documents. The problem with the previous formatting is that when you have positive and negative numbers go with brackets, they are a bit misaligned. So to eliminate this, you push Ctrl 1, and for the positive numbers you need to add tiny addition. These numbers are perfectly aligned. Let's do maybe a final trick on the numbers, and this is if you want to go to financial. So let's take the colors out, just to make the formula a bit lighter and easier to read. So if you want to add any sign, essentially dollar is just an example, you can add it. You can add it with space, without a space, and for the negatives as well. Now you have perfect financial formatting. Another element which is also helpful is the way how to separate the thousands, how to make it more readable, because as you can see here the number 1634 is not perfectly viewed. Let's try to fix this. In order to do it, you do a simple thing, put sharp, 2 sharps, sorry, and then you don't have it here, and you add the same thing for the negative number. This should do the trick. Now, as you can see, every 3 digits will be separated by a comma. Let's just take an example. This number, pardon, it's probably a bit too much. Yeah, so every 3 digits will be separated. Let's spend a bit of time on the dates formatting. Usually the dates are visible in this format. Of course, you can go to the date and choose one of the options, but let's try to again utilize the custom option. As you can see, this format, if you go to this format, you will see the year, month, and the day at the end. And you can play with this. Essentially, you don't necessarily need to see a full date. You can go with year. If you put Y once, you will see the 2 digits, last 2 digits of the year number. If you put it 3 times, it will be full year, and then for the other amount is the same. So if you want to be able to see only the year, you can put format year, and this is what you're gonna get. Let's imagine you want to play the same game with the months. Again, you can start with 1. 1 will show you the number, the number of the months. 2 in the 2-digit format. 3 will show you a short 3-letter acronym for the month. 4 will show full month's name, and 5 will show 1 letter, and then the rest is the same. If you start to play with day, it's even more interesting, because if you put D only once, you get the number of the day of the month. For 2 there is no change, but for 3 you have the short name of the weekday. For 4 Ds it's a full weekday, and I think the rest doesn't change. And probably the last one, which is also sometimes helpful. Here, for instance, let's imagine you have the telephone numbers, and usually in the database you have them stored as a sequence of numbers, and you want to make it a bit more readable. So instead of having it like this or splitting it somehow, you can just choose the formatting. Let's imagine you put it like this: dash, 3 numbers, another 3 numbers, and the 4 numbers. So now you can play with this format the way you want. You can take out or add something, but this is the easiest way. However, the benefit of it is that in reality the number stays, the value of the number stays as a simple number, and you can apply all the potential operations you would like to do it. Well, that's pretty much it on my side. For the intro, I think it's more than enough. I hope you find it helpful, and maybe even tomorrow you will be able to improve your work and save a bit of time. Thank you very much, and wish you a good day.